And welcome back, dear brothers and sisters, to God is Walking on Water Channel. We are living in intriguing times. We are living in a period that really is unprecedented. I haven't seen such release in such a long time on the internet of sensitive information pertaining to all of the blood rituals, the satanic rituals of the royal family in England, all of the rich and powerful in Europe, ranging from royalty, nobility, whether we're talking about, the crown of England, whether we're talking about France and all of the rich and powerful. Jack Lang recently was interviewed because I'm living currently in France by the French TV stations, and it's a mess. I mean, not just for him. I mean, for so many people that are implicated in this horror show. It really is a horror show. I am baffled by all the mails that have been circulating. There is this specific mail. If you go, it's J World. I think it's jworld.com. I need to get that. Where apparently this is all the leaked mails of Epstein, and it was done in a way where it's not too laborious for people that don't really have the patience of going through all of the files that were released by the Department of Justice. So there is this link, which I thought was interesting. I never heard of this link before, but it just was this information was just released, and let me get this link. Hang on, where was it? I just have to get this link. Hang on. It was. I mean, there's just so much to sort out, brothers and sisters. We're living in a time where everything is being exposed, everything is preached basically on the rooftops, and Jesus said that this would happen. We're living in a time where all of the elites are being exposed, and it only will furthermore the flames. It's going to fan the flames even more. You will have exaggerations, you will have partial truths, and then you will have like blatant truths. It's just awful what these people have done for so long, unpunished, and just molesting, abusing, torturing these poor children. It just I can't find it for the life of me, brothers and sisters. But yeah, just so you know, there is just this release, this release of information pertaining to all of the victims that have been abused, and the names, right? All of the known actors, Kevin Spacey, Jay-Z. You have other people mentioned like Michael Jackson. You've got Jack Lang. I mentioned him. You've got the wife of the Prince of Norway. You've got even the Queen of Sweden. The Queen of Sweden is mentioned in the documents, brothers and sisters. It even goes all the way to the Vatican. The trail leads to the Vatican. This whole affair stinks to high heaven, brothers and sisters. This whole affair, the Jeffrey Epstein files, is a mess. And we're only getting started. I haven't seen, I mean, I live in France, and usually here in Europe, you know, they kind of keep a lid on these stories. You can understand, you know, in America that, you know, it would have made, you know, headlines and waves back, you know, in 2015. But, you know, I remember, you know, I was already aware in 2012 about the Jeffrey Epstein it was 2014. 2014 I was aware. 2012 was when I was born again. But already in 2014 I started to see, that was during the Maidan revolution in Ukraine. I already was seeing, you know, all of this this talk of Pizzagate and the Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was like, you know, the top 10, if not number one. And you know, everything, you know, was everybody was perfectly comfortable. Everything was just, you know, it's good. It's okay. You know, we have, you know, all the information on the elites, you know, the Democrats, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Yeah, we're talking about the Podesta affair. We're talking about these individuals. Okay, we need to drain the swamp. We need to get rid of these people, and let's focus on these individuals. But the Jeffrey Epstein connection with Trump, the Jeffrey Epstein connection with royalty, with the Mossad, Israel, secret intelligence, in Israel, all of that connection, even going all the way to the Vatican. I mean, you only have to research on the internet, and you will find that Jeffrey Epstein, his tentacles stretched all the way, even to the Vatican, all over the world. Jeffrey Epstein had his tentacles all over the place, and we actually see even a photo of Jeffrey Epstein with John Paul II, with Ghislaine Maxwell, and with all of this, how can I put it? This revelation, this horror, this madness that we've suppressed for so long is now coming out. It's all the spilling the beans, and this is done by design. I will make a few mentions. I will give you some references, hopefully. But in the Protocols of Zion, a document that was, it was basically a document that was stolen, or it was given by a Freemason, not given, but it was stolen and given to a Orthodox priest by and allegedly it was a prostitute in Paris. And this was back in the 1900s, just before the Bolshevik Revolution. And this document, these protocols, in the form of a document, was given to a Eastern Orthodox priest by the name of Sergei Nilus. You can find the original copy of this, the original first edition copy, first edition, manuscript of the Protocols of Zion, I believe, in London, in the British Museum. And basically, just a quick summary of the Protocols of Zion. The Protocols of Zion is basically a list of protocols, of uh, of um, of specific goals that need to be attained in order for the king of Israel to return, in order for this character they called the King of Israel. I kid you not, this is what is stated in the protocols of Zion. I believe there is about 23 protocols, and this document was banned. It was banned in Switzerland. It was banned in multiple countries, and basically, this document was controversial because it was just showing all of the aspects and facets of society that were controlled by this powerful elite, whether it was the financial system, the military industrial complex, or we're talking about even the religious and the educational system. I mean, you've got a whole list, and on top of that, we have the Jews, that is the synagogue of Satan, mentioned in that document. And they basically, that document states that they are waiting for the man, the Messiah, to appear. But before the Messiah appears, they have to reach all of these goals. And some have pointed to certain elements that would seem to show that this is actually a fabricated document by the Jesuits. And I mean, I'm not throwing anything out at this point, but I do want to share information that you might have not considered in regards to this whole conspiracy and the people involved, the organizations involved. I mentioned the Roman Catholic Church. I mentioned also the synagogue of Satan. I mentioned that, the Jews, right, cover term, right, for people that claim ultimately that they are the descendants of Israel, and that they are ultimately the children of God, that they are God's chosen people. And we know Jesus himself in Revelation chapter 3, I believe it's in verse 19, he says, I will make them that say they are Jews but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, to come before your feet and worship. And that word worship can be used as, paying homage and great respect. And it's interesting. Brother Six String Bra 33 says, yep, I can back you up because my friend had a copy, probably not original, but yeah, it's all in there. Absolutely. And the reason why this is so important is because I've never seen such a release of information in my life personally. I'm going to turn 37, so I'm still young and healthy by God's grace. In Jesus' name, we have to give him the glory, and we thank him for our families and the health that he provides. But we're living in dark times. We're definitely living in dark times, my friends, and we don't have much time. If you've paid attention to the prices of gold and silver, you've noticed how they've been just peaking. They've been just hitting, all-time high notes, all-time highs. And there was this crash. There was this just huge drop. It hit $100 an ounce. And when we're talking about kilo, when we're talking about silver, I'm now talking about silver, because silver it's one of the greatest commodities you can have at the moment if you have that that opportunity. Silver hit an all-time high with $100 an ounce, and it even went above $100 an ounce, and it immediately dropped. So when we're talking about, for 1 kilo lingot of silver, that would be 3,000 plus US dollars. 3,000 plus US dollars. And gold, I mean, don't get me started. I mean, it was just way up there. And then he hit a drop, just a massive drop, where it lost, at least, 30 to 40% of its worth. And now it's slowly climbing back up. And all of this is in the context of geopolitical instability, because you have to understand that the gold and silver, and I know this because I have a very dear, I don't want to give too much details here, but I have a very dear a family member that has really taught me and shown me all of the inner workings of the financial system. And I love this family member with all of my heart, and I thank him for just opening my mind to all of the inner workings of this Machiavellic system. And so the dear family member said to me that, basically, when you have instability, when you have all of these wars in the world, it will impact the gold, it will impact the silver, and also the fact that it has been suppressed for so long. That is the value. The value has been so manipulated, because you have to understand, during the time of the Romans, the Greeks, in antiquity, one silver coin, one coin, gold coin, could be a fortune for a person. It could mean a fortune. I mean, just one gold coin wouldn't just buy you one loaf of bread. And we've lost the value of real money. Real money. And these people, they know exactly how, this system, this game of deception works. They manipulate the markets, and they discourage people of investing in real commodities, that is, like long-term investments that they will benefit from. And even scripture says, that you have to buy gold and silver, but that's a different context. But it's already showing you that the worth of gold and silver is essential for an economy. And we know, King Solomon and King David, I mean, it talks about silver, it talks about gold, 660 talents of gold, I believe, for King Solomon. So why am I talking about gold and silver? Well, the economy is crashing right now. The economy, the reality is, all of this this added value to just it's fictitious. The money that we've been taught to believe that it has worth, it has value. All of that is fiat currency. It's based on debt. It's only a promise of return, right? Your dollar bill, my euro bill, all of that is air. It doesn't have real tangible value. And this is why we're heading to this digital system where everything can be controlled, where they can just ban you from society, because they know people are just so plugged into this system. And they know that when all of the banks, They could just flip the switch. You can't go to the ATM machine and get some cash. A blackout. What can you do? Going to the grocery store and all the lights are off, and then we're back in the Middle Ages again, where we need to put candles. And you see, that's how they control people. They did that to Spain. They did that. They flipped the switch. A blackout occurred. This happened last year, and people, many of them panicked. And that's the thing is, they have that capacity where, okay, we're going to target this specific sector, and this in the long run will produce absolute chaos, because people have been so conditioned in this system of the dollar bill, the digital currency, right? AI. Now AI, we have von der Leyen, Ursula von der Leyen. I think she's president of the European Commission, if my memory serves me. But Ursula von der Leyen said that now they're thinking for this year to have this powerful grid where you're an accountant, you're a bank counselor, right? Your bank manager, but that is the one who's counseling you, is going to be AI. AI will basically block a transaction if it assumes it judges that, okay, this is a suspicious transaction. AI will be making that decision. You won't be making that decision. So all of this has been built. All of this has been constructed for decades. So no one will be able to buy or sell unless he or she has the mark of the beast. And this could have been possible in the 90s. This could have been possible in the 70s and the 60s. This can be only possible in our time, in 2026. And the man who was presented to the American public as the knight in shining armor, the man who would drain the swamp, is the very same person who mingled and committed these abominations with these sons of Satan, these daughters of Satan, wicked children, wicked families that have committed child sacrifice. I remember a couple of years ago. It was when we went to Belgium with my first daughter and my wife, and it's on the channel. And we went to this town called Saint Nicholas. Yes, Saint Nicholas. Santa Claus. That's where it all comes from, my dear friends. And we went there, and we saw on the streets of Saint Nicholas just satanic sculptures. Sculptures that, just are completely outlandish. Little children running naked. Little children running naked are like they're fleeing from something completely evil. And you have to know that in Belgium, they actually committed these atrocities, these wicked rituals, where it was reported, and I can't remember it. I think it was Kevin Annett. Kevin Annett. If you don't know who Kevin Annett is, he's done a lot of stuff on the Roman Catholic Church, and he basically I learned a lot from Kevin Annett's circle. He had heard stories from victims who they were basically kidnapped, and they were stripped naked in the forests of Belgium, and I think even in some parts of France. And this was back in the 80s. And they would release these children in the cold, in winter, in the forest, because it was a hunt. It was a night hunt, a wild hunt, and they would chase these children for sport, literally naked in the forest, running away from depraved lunatics, psychopaths, running after children with weapons. And this is exactly what we see in movies like Hunger Games. This is what we see with movies that they released. Hollywood released movies like The Purge. Some of you maybe don't know what I'm talking about, but they had movies like this released, a couple years ago, where, they show people hunted down, and where murder is legal once a year. Once a year, these rituals are considered legal. And this is what we're seeing, my dear brothers and sisters. We are seeing a purge on all levels. We're not just talking about a purge of the simple, of the majority that have been abused for years, decades and decades. Most dangerous game comes to mind. Yes. Absolutely, my friend. Or the Squid. What was that? I haven't watched these movies, but I've informed myself. The Squid Game. All of that is the conditioning people and preparing them for this degenerate society that they've planned, where murder is considered legal. The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, they considered, fighting, killing people in the arenas legal. Again, where are they getting all of these ideas from? They're getting from these Roman society, pagan societies like Babylon, like Egypt, like the Aztecs. They're getting all of their conceptions from these societies, from these pagan societies. And all of this is coming out now in a way that we would have never conceived before. This is no longer this information about the powerful elites ruling the world, satanic bloodlines, families that have sworn to the Vatican as, the sole authority on earth, and then other schools of thought that adhere to human sacrifice and cannibalism, and that worship Baal, like in the days of old, like King Ahab and Jezebel. You have like Jewish families on the outside seem completely innocent, inoffensive, and then they're actually practicing witchcraft, sorcery, black magic, worshipping Baal at night. A saint, during the day, and a devil at night. This thing has been going on for so long, and now they're spilling the beans. But why are they spilling the beans? Why this stuff is being talked about on major television stations where they would have never given the thought to even talk about it 30 years ago? Why are we talking about these things now in 2026 when we are literally on the verge of World War III? You see the connection? Because these people, they know their time is up and that a new order is about to emerge. What is this new order that I'm referring to? I'm referring to the fourth kingdom, according to Daniel chapter 2. This fourth kingdom, who ultimately will be composed of the clay and the iron, will merge as one, yet they will not cleave. It's a system that will eventually collapse, and we're right now in this system. Who is the clay and who is the iron? The iron, symbolically and historically speaking, was always associated with Rome, with the Gentile power, because if you remember your Bible studies, you understand that the vision that Daniel saw was a vision of the statue of King Nebuchadnezzar, his head of gold, his body of was it bronze, or I can't remember, but yeah, I think there was iron as well, and I think the leg was iron, completely iron. Then you have the toes that are made partly of iron and of clay, and that is solve coagula. Solve coagula. That's in Latin. It's basically divide and conquer. You dissociate, but then you merge together, right? You separate, then you merge together. So division will bring unity. Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, and solution. It has always been the currency of these satanic elites. Always. And now we're seeing this moment in history where all of the elites of the world are literally being mentioned in the Epstein files. They're mentioned in the documents. We're talking about rich and famous people. I mentioned Jay-Z. I mentioned Michael Jackson, but we're talking about Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. We've heard those names. But we're even talking about people like Bill Gates, right? The guy, who, encouraged our governments, to keep us locked and silenced during the COVID. I mean, we're talking about people that have been planning this at Davos for years, every single year. What's the next new pandemic? When's the next war that we can, make money, from people? We can squeeze the time and their energy, more that, because that's how these people make themselves rich. They would have you believe that you are essentially, a valuable, a valuable asset to the society, but you're cattle. And many people are realizing this, that this is slavery. But we have to understand, many people are still slaves. Many people are still captive by the prince of this world. They're still blinded by the prince of the power of the air, the devil, Satan. And this is by design. All of this release of information, and we're going to hear more of it, brothers and sisters. Did you know that 3 million documents, and we're talking about at least thousands of times Trump was mentioned in those documents, and they even touched upon those documents. And I'm going to show you a video that is I'm telling you, be ready for this video, because you're not going to like this. Are you an ex-Catholic? How do you speak Latin? Oh, sister, yeah, okay. I am not fluent in Latin. I'm not, but I've learned Latin in school because it was an option in Switzerland. You basically had either Spanish, Latin, French, obviously, because, we had to speak French, and English. So you could either take the course of, and I took Latin, but I was not that good. I've only caught up with my studies, sister. Only caught up with my studies because I am blessed, with all of that time that God has given me where I can research these things. And it's all credit to the Holy Spirit. America is the largest free-range prison. Absolutely, Brother Curtis. And it's good to have you on, Brother Curtis, because you know what? Europe is a prison as well. It's only we live in different sorts of prison. I know it's a different sorts of prison, and you see, if you would stack up the Epstein files, did you know that the Epstein files they would basically go as high as the Eiffel Tower in Paris? Did you know that? If you would stack up the Epstein files, they would literally go as high as the Eiffel Tower. Facts. How much of these satanic rituals are in the document that we're not aware of? Now, I had a vision, brothers and sisters, a couple years ago. I had a vision, and I'm, some people, can mock and say, Caleb is making this completely up, but I'm dead serious. I had a vision it was the 4th of January, I think, or 4th of January, before the attack on Capitol Hill on the 6th of January. And I just want to share you this because this is a dream that I literally had, and it happened. It literally happened, my brothers and sisters. If you go to the channel, you will see, and hang on, for some reason, nope. Just need to get back to that one. Okie dokie. We'll get back to Mike Johnson in a bit. Just bear with me. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Right. Okay. This is a video that I posted, and right, Trump was president. This was posted 5th of January. You can see that. It only has 179 views. Okay? Not many views. But it was posted a day before the attack on Donald Trump concerning rigged elections, part 2. Now, I'm not going to show you part 1 because it's 15 minutes, so this is 6 minutes long. But I do want to share to you this video, some of it, and then I'll show you relevant video that pertains to what we're seeing now with the Epstein files. But before I show you that, I want to show you this video. Why do I want to show you this video? Because in this video, I basically had a prophetic dream. I had a dream where I basically saw Trump fall in the House of Representatives. I'm not an American. I don't even know where the House of Representatives is back in 2021. I know now it's in Washington. But back then, I didn't know, all the American system. And I'm originally from Switzerland, as you know, from France. Now, you know that the Bible says in Acts 2 that this is based on the prophecy of Joel 2, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Right? we remember this passage, brothers and sisters. Hang on, I'm getting a bit of a fluctuation here. Are we okay? Hang on. Are we still okay, brothers and sisters? Just let me know, because I think it's the nature of this live stream where sometimes there is a bit of opposition, but in the name of Jesus, we're going to make this happen. So just let me know if it's okay. Okay. So basically, I don't know all of these things, and yet I had the dream of Trump in the House of Representatives addressing the nation, addressing lawmakers, addressing senators, and basically Trump said that he did a great he had a great he did a great mandate, that he was justifying himself of all of the policies that he enacted, and that during the COVID he did a great job, and that the elections were rigged when he was running for presidency against Biden, and he was saying that in the vision. And then what happened? Someone in the audience with glasses. And this is why you saw Mike Johnson. I have no idea. I'm not trying to come to hasty conclusions, but it's very weird that I had this dream, and then the next day, Capitol Hill was attacked. Capitol Hill, with the people that were part of the QAnon, far right wing conspiracy theorist circle, where we would agree on many points with these with these individuals. But remember what I said, it's controlled opposition. You will have some truth coming from the left, and you will have some truth coming from the right, but we're smack in the middle. We're smack in the middle. Why? Because both of these groups are controlled by the same elite, by the same elites, by the same the same satanic powerhouse. Okay. And we have to understand that they, even amongst themselves, when we're talking about the Jews, when we're talking about the Roman Catholic Church, when we're talking about Freemasonry, we have to understand Vatican II when we're talking about alliances between these factions. Because this is what's happening. When you're seeing Zionism, right, is sheltering rabbis, ultra-Orthodox rabbis, that have said in the private, meetings that, we have to destroy Amalek, we have to destroy the Palestinians, we have to do an ethnical cleansing of the region because our Messiah is coming and we're going to rebuild our third temple. You have to understand, these people are running Washington. They're behind Trump. They're running the game. These Zionists, these extremists like Lindsey Graham, like John Hagee, they're allied with these people. And when we take everything into account, we understand that Jeffrey Epstein was working for the Mossad. You see, it all makes sense. They have dirt on Trump. They have dirt on Trump. Trump is not, going to be a president forever. Lindsey Graham said that. He said that recently. He said, Mr. President, you're not going to be president, unfortunately, forever. You're not going to be president forever. What is that signaling? It's signaling the time of Trump is coming to an end. And it's frightening news, but not for us, sons of God, sons of Jesus Christ. It's not a surprise, because he said these things must occur. I'm going to share this to you quickly. The video that I'd released just about 2 days ago,
and this video was a dream that I had on the 3rd. It was actually the night of the 3rd of January 2021. So the next day I released this short video where I explained that in the dream I dreamt about Donald Trump addressing lawmakers, senators, and that the area where he was situated in appeared to look like the House of Representatives. Now, I'm not an American, and I explained it again. I've explained it so many times in my videos that I don't have any agenda. I'm not a supporter of any party in America, and we have to take into account that I'm not from America and I live in Europe, France. So I made that clear in that video that I wouldn't have any reason, specific reason to release this video. But the fact of the matter is that I had this dream.
And again, I just want to remind you, notice the date. This video concerning this dream of Donald Trump concerning rigged elections, do you see that? Means that I had the dream before I posted it. Okay, so we're talking about, I think it was 3rd I mentioned, or 4th. But look at that, 5th of January 2021. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. But let's, all glory to Jesus. You know, it's just showing you Jesus speaks to his people.
And I believe that this dream was from the Lord, from God. And I do not say this lightly. So in the dream, Trump was addressing the crowd. He was addressing these lawmakers, these senators. And basically what happened is that an individual that I had described in my previous video that had glasses and looked chubby. He had a chubby face. Now, it's interesting because I thought that he was strikingly similar to Steve Mnuchin, the head of the Treasury. And I thought that in the dream there was probably a connection with Steve Mnuchin, which I'm not disregarding at the moment. We'll have to wait for tomorrow to see what happens. But again, you know, in dreams, it can be very gray in some areas, and some areas are very clear. Like in the dream, clearly Donald Trump was addressing his audience, and Nancy Pelosi was also in that session. Okay, so what's interesting is I've just learned that Nancy Pelosi was elected, House Speaker, and she's going to be present during this session. And interestingly enough, there is a character which I haven't paid attention to, but that has also is also known to have glasses and has a chubby face, and his name is Mitch McConnell. So Mitch McConnell is said to be he's going to have a major role. I don't have the specifics, but he's going to have a major role in the decision that is going to be made, especially by Mike Pence, who's going to be presiding over this session. He will be the one congratulating the new president of the United States of America. So these are interesting characters, and I do not disregard the first video where I've made it clear that in my dream this Steve Mnuchin character resembled the man that I had dreamt of, with glasses and a chubby face. But I am not ruling out that Mitch McConnell could be this character as well, as he's going to be present during that session tomorrow. So I just want to make this clear because, you know, we're human beings and we're prone to error, but the Holy Spirit is not someone that will be found with error, and the Holy Spirit always makes sure that his faithful disciples, his people, will get the facts straight, and that they will give enough information in order for the people to make up their own mind. So I just wanted to make that clear, that Mitch McConnell could be a potential candidate to this dream where a verbal altercation took place, and where this character with glasses and a chubby face pulled Trump's arm, and Trump fell to the ground violently. So you'll have to go back to the first video in order to get more information on that. So I just wanted to share that.
So you heard that last part. That's why I said I'm not going to go to the full video. If you're really, really interested to hear what was said, you can go to it. It's the first part, about the dream of Donald Trump being pulled to the ground. I literally dreamt that he was pulled to the ground by this guy with glasses, and he had a chubby face. What's interesting, brothers and sisters, is just recently, I came across this information. Some of you have not heard of this person before, or some of you have, but this person is called Mike Johnson. I'm going to give you a couple of information on this character, because Mike Johnson is currently the president he is the head of the House of Representatives. He's the president. I think he's president of the House of Representatives. So that's interesting in light of that dream where I'm describing this character of glasses screaming in the House of Representatives after Trump giving a speech boasting of how well he did during his office, that, basically did a very good job during the COVID, that, the elections were rigged. I'm serious. I posted that video the 5th of January, and I had this dream a couple nights before. And in that vision, Trump was pulled to the ground from that pulpit where he was speaking. That character with the glasses pulled him to the ground, and he was saying, I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God, and he pulled him to the ground. Am I saying that's a literal thing that is going to happen? You know the nature of dreams, according to the scriptures, they can be symbolic and have real people reference, but the event is prophetic. There are prophetic, symbolic meanings to the dream, and it's interesting because Trump lost. His partisans attacked the Capitol, and basically what happened? Well, we Trump, his reputation just was completely tarnished, and we see Biden, right? Biden was elected. Interesting, right? That the Lord gave me, Jesus Christ gave me that dream just a couple nights before this event. Do you think I'm making this up? I'm not making it up. And again, if brothers and sisters, if you have eyes to see, or anyone listening, again, visions are given for the saints. Prophecy is given for the saints. Why? Because they believe. For non-believers, this is just like crazy talk. But for those of you that really believe in Bible prophecy, in visions that were promised by our Lord in the last days, This will happen more and more. And this is like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and we're seeing all of these events take place. Now, this Mike Johnson is now currently president of the House of Representatives. And I think he's going to play a major role in this Epstein debacle. I really, really believe it. And there is more information that you should be aware of. This person, interestingly enough, and this is where it's going to get like really weird, and weird in the sense that now we're going in uncharted territory. Now we're going in a direction that, you know, probably you're not prepared to, you know, to be you know, to be presented this information. You know, you're maybe not expecting this type of information. Mike Johnson. So this is the Wikipedia page of Mike Johnson. Okay, it's official, right? I'm not saying that Wikipedia has all the facts, right? But it's just interesting that they mention it on his official Wikipedia page. Okay. So he is the 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. You see that? So he is the Speaker, the chairman, right? The how do you call it? You know, the Speaker, the one who is, you know, the responsible. So look what it states here. James Michael Johnson is an American lawyer. Remember the island of Epstein is called Little St. James, right? Little St. James. James Michael Johnson, born January 30th. Interesting. 1972, is an American lawyer and politician serving as the 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives since 2023. A member of the Republican Party, he is in his 5th House term. You see that? He's in his 5th House term, having represented Louisiana's 4th congressional district since 2017. Johnson is a graduate of the Paul M. Herbert Law Center, okay, etc., etc. Oh, he's also of, he sat as on the Ethics of Religious Liberty Commission of the Southern Baptist Convention. Interesting. So Baptist. Johnson' political career began when he was elected to Louisiana's House of Representatives. You see that? And now it says on October 25th, 2023, after Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker of the House, Johnson was elected to replace him. He was narrowly re-elected to a full term as Speaker in 2025. Remember again the dream, right? Lord gives us enough information for us then to understand in the future, okay, this is what the dream meant. James Michael Johnson, okay, you have all his information here, right? He is the House of Representatives, and I'm going to show you a video concerning the House of Representatives, because as you well know, some of you that have been following the Epstein files, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are going to testify at the House of Representatives. They're literally going to go there, and basically they're going to. I, in my opinion, you know, I think they're going to release a lot of information that is going to shock the American public. I really, really believe this. Yes, they're going to testify at the House of Representatives. This is huge. It's huge because we know the Clintons, they were good friends with the Trumps, and we also know that Trump was a Democrat in the 80s. Yes, Trump was a supporter of the Democratic Party. Before he was a full-blown MAGA, a Republican, supporter. You have to know that he was on the far left. He was a Democrat, and it makes sense in light of all of the revelation pertaining to the Epstein files. It makes perfect sense. So continuing with this Michael Johnson character, here it says, just going to put this slightly. Okay. So it says here, this is where I really want to focus on here. You see, U.S. House of Representatives. You see, he's the 8th district seat of the Louisiana Representatives was vacated by Jeff R. Thompson. You see, in April 2015, Johnson proposed a Marriage and Conscience Act. It continues. This is where it's going to get really interesting. And it says here, U.S. House of Representatives 2016 and 2022, Johnson won re-election unopposed. Johnson won already in 2020 a 3rd House term. You see that? How many times? 2nd House term. 2024, Johnson won re-election with 262.821 votes, 86%. You see? So he's going to be a major component. In 2022, Johnson wrote the foreword to Louisiana politics blogger Scott McKay's book, The Revivalist Manifesto. The book uses homophobic slurs to refer to Pete Buttigieg and implicitly endorses the debunked Pizzagate theory. How ironic. How ironic, because Trump, in order for him to get the support of the American people, right? What did he use? What was instrumental to his success? The Pizzagate and Epstein and the Epstein case. He said, when I will be president, I'm going to release all of this information on the Clintons. I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to get rid of all of these people that have been hiding this information for so long, pertaining to pedophilia, rape, child rape, all of that, all of the disgusting things that they did in the dark. I'm going to reveal it. And you see, a knight in shining armor, but a devil. In reality, a devil working for the same group, for the same elite. And I see a pattern. I see a pattern here. This Johnson character was endorsing the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. And it's not, because ultimately we're now faced with the greatest scandal of our century, the Epstein files. This is going to get really interesting, brothers and sisters. Just be hold on to your seats and be prepared. Johnson promoted the book on his podcast, saying, "I obviously believe in the product," etc., etc. This is where it's going to get weird. So this is the House of Representatives. You see, he was elected as Speaker of, the House of Representatives. You have him there. Okay. And this is what I dreamt. I dreamt of the House of Representatives. Look at that. Right above his head, in God we trust. And I really encourage you to go to that dream I had of Trump. Because I dreamt, he literally swore, this character who had glasses, he literally said, "I swear to God, I swear to God," and he pulled Trump down. And Trump fell to the floor, and people said, "Trump is dead, Trump is dead." And people basically, lifted him up from the ground, and then they Trump looked like a vegetable. If you know what, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it so then you know what I'm referencing. I just want to keep this open. Hang on. Right. Just going to put that dream again. I mean, the times we're living in, brothers and sisters, everything is coming to the light. Everything is. Here it is. Okay. Dream, 1,300 views.
Dear brother.
Okay. So there it is. That's the one. Right. Okay. So just going to open this. We'll get back to this again. You know what? This is what I'll do. Just to make it interesting, because I think this is... I mean, I didn't know that, they had this above, like written, "In God we trust." This is new information to me. So I am interested, generally interested, but we'll get back to this. But hang on. Let me get now to... just bear with me. Hang on. Okay. Dream of Trump. Rigged elections. Okay. Again, this was posted. Let me get the facts here. As you well see, brothers and sisters, this was posted 5 years ago, right? January the 3rd. So I literally had this dream. What was it? The 2nd? So let's just watch this, brothers and sisters. Again, I know it's me, sharing this information, but again, you really have to see this. Hang on. Okay, so let's put this on. And while I'm playing this, just want you to remember this character. Just keep this character in mind. Am I saying this is him? That this event will happen through him in a symbolic way? I don't know. It could be. And we could go back to the Wikipedia page again. It might sound completely crazy, but again, listen to the dream. It was 5 years ago. On the 2nd of January 2015, 2021, I posted this video. We're talking about 5 years ago. And now, I learned this information that he is Speaker at the House of Representatives. And you have this picture, "In God we trust," right? You have literally the words, "In God we trust," above the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And the Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are going to testify in the House of Representatives. Remember, this has been shared on God is Walking on Water channel, and this is a warning for America.
Brothers and sisters, in the precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I just want to share you a dream that I had last night. We are today the 3rd of January 2021, and I do want to wish you a happy new year, and to your loved ones, may you grow in the knowledge and in the wisdom of Jesus Christ. This message is addressed specifically to my brothers and sisters living in the United States of America, and as well as anyone that is willing to take heed and listen to this message. I had the dream last night, and I have no agenda whatsoever, as I am someone that lives in Europe, here in France. So I wouldn't have any agenda of supporting any political party in the United States of America. And just to show you my good faith, you will know that I've made it very clear through my videos on my channel that I am not in any way, shape or form a supporter of any political party in the US, and that I do believe that there is a Hegelian dialectic being used by those that control this world. So I just wanted to share this dream quickly. Last night I dreamt of people that were assembled in what appeared to look like the House of Representatives in the US. Now, some of you who live in the US, you are quite familiar with the layout and the structure and the way the House of Representatives look like. And you will know that there is like this sort of podium, this small this sort of elevated platform. It's not that big, but it's elevated, and behind that is slightly more elevated, you have the area where you have the lawmakers. I believe it's lawmakers that are in the higher sort of a platform. But on the lower platform, you have the speaker. And in the dream, I dreamt that President Donald Trump was addressing what appeared to look like the House of Representatives. So he was on this platform, this lower but quite elevated platform, and he was addressing the House of Representatives and the senators and all the lawmakers. He was basically I couldn't really understand in detail what he was actually specifically addressing, but he was clearly talking about the coronavirus and the COVID-19 crisis that America was facing. And he was also very displeased. Donald Trump was very displeased to the decisions that had been made, and specifically to the what happened with these elections. He was making it very clear that the elections were rigged, that there was a lot of fraud allegations, and that they were well-founded, that there was enough evidence for these frauds. And he was addressing the House of Representatives and basically stating that he had enough evidence with his cabinet, with the people he was associated with, the Republicans, that they had enough evidence to show the American people that these elections were rigged. And interestingly enough, there was this individual in the dream that approached the platform where Donald Trump was speaking, and this individual looked. I will describe you the individual, and I will then give you my possible interpretation of who this individual is. But this individual was chubby. His face looked chubby, and he had glasses, and his hair was dark-haired, individual. And he approached the podium where Donald Trump was speaking, and there was this verbal confrontation that took place. Trump was basically accusing this individual of something that I was not quite sure, but he had to do with the COVID and the elections. And this individual started to scream and shout, and basically he was trying to show Donald Trump that he was loyal to Donald Trump. And he started to say, I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God. So it seemed like he was basically trying to show his allegiance, to prove his innocence. And he was screaming and screaming and saying, I swear to God, I swear to God. And he took hold of Donald Trump's arm and pulled him, really pulled him violently to the ground. So you all know that that platform is quite elevated. And Donald Trump literally was, pulled from that podium, from that platform, and fell to the ground. Now, there was a lot of people that were assembling to where Donald Trump fell, but people in the audience, they started to I heard people started to say, Donald Trump is dead. Donald Trump is dead. And we can have multiple interpretations to what exactly this means, but that's what I heard, that Donald Trump was dead. And as the dream kept unfolding, Donald Trump, I saw Donald Trump actually being helped by his bodyguards, by the people that were from his office. And they lifted Donald Trump from the ground, and Donald Trump actually looked like he was alive, appeared as if he was still alive. But the eyes were very interesting, because I saw Donald Trump's eyes were like deers that are caught in the headlights. For some of you that were driving late at night. And you stumbled on a deer. Well, you'll know that deers, when they see headlights, when they see the light, they are actually dumbstruck. They're actually quite startled. So those were the eyes of Donald Trump in the dream. He had like these startled eyes, bewildered and shocked. He looked a bit like a vegetable, someone that came out from an asylum, and they actually started to remove him from what appeared to look like the House of Representatives. And he had the consciousness of Donald Trump in the dream was lost. He had like
Yeah, I was muted. My bad. I'm going to stop there. I think it's very interesting. I actually made a mistake. I meant deer. When you've seen deer. So I made a mistake there. But yeah, just so then we understand what exactly is being said. This was posted on the 2nd of January, 2021, brothers and sisters. 2021. 5 years before all of this Epstein files coming out. And, people are like, I've seen the polls, will the Republicans lose the midterms? And is Trump likely going to be impeached? 0% have voted that Trump will be impeached. I think he will. I think. I could be wrong. Will lose the midterms. Yeah, 14% think, it's very possible, because it's traditional that, the presidents, they lose before the midterms in America. And 29% voted all the above. And 57% have voted nothing will happen. So there is a bit of this uncertainty I'm seeing based on the votes. Majority thinks nothing will happen, but if we take into account 29% and 14% who says we'll lose the midterms and all the above, well, then we roughly come to 44%. So it's there is this uncertainty in the air. That's what I get from the polls, is that there is uncertainty with this situation, with all of this evil that being released. And I'm going to share you a video based on that. But yeah, just interesting, right? that dream, that vision I had in 2021 on the 2nd of or 1st of January, the night of the 1st of January, and then I posted that on the 2nd of January, I think is very, very telling. In light of the event that occurred on Capitol Hill, the 6th of January, right? Literally that was the moment when Trump lost. It was official. And he was going on about all of this, the elections are rigged and what have you, and he still does. He still is, beating that drum. So I think it's interesting. Now, coming back to this Mike Johnson guy, I think we shouldn't just poo-poo this, and we shouldn't disregard what was said in that video based on all the information that we're seeing on Wikipedia. On this character, and I do want to bring this again. If we go back to this page, brothers and sisters, you will notice something very interesting, and no one has spoken about this. No one. I'm really serious. I haven't heard anyone speak about this information, at least to my knowledge. I haven't seen anyone mention this, and I am going to try my best to bring this to the light. So, on November 17th, Johnson announced that 44,000 hours of security footage from the January United States Capitol attack, all of which had previously only been available upon the request for criminal defendants on the media, would be released to the general public. On December 1st, the House expelled Republican Congress George Santos by 311 to 114 votes. Johnson voted against expulsion and called it a regrettable day. Okay? So, again, interesting that he was involved in this event in regards, to witnessing this event. Okay. Also, take note that Johnson, his administration proposed the funding request for aid to Ukraine and Israel. Okay, with the war on Ukraine. Just want you to also take note of that. Okay. He also approved 14.3 billion in aid to Israel. Okay, the IRS, he suggested rescinding IRS funding from the Inflation Reduction Act to provide Israel with 14.3 billion, guys. 14.3 billion in aid. Okay? You can't just poo-poo this. Now, another interesting fact. All of the money, right, that has been just been wasted. Yeah, there we go. Again, on April 2024, for 2 months after the Senate had passed a funding bill for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, Johnson put forward a legislative package providing aid to the three countries in separate bills, in each of which passed Congress with bipartisan support and large majorities, and was signed into law by President Biden. Again, they're playing, two sides. It's two sides of the same coin. It's two sides of the same coin. You see, to fund Ukraine war efforts, he was involved. Heavily involved. Look, Johnson selfie with Elon Musk and President-elect Donald Trump. Now there is more. There is more that is troubling. In mid-July, Johnson said of the federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, we should put everything out there and let the people decide. But after Trump called for the Epstein matter to be dropped, so first, Mike Johnson said, we need to release everything. But then when Trump called for the Epstein matter to be dropped, Johnson changed his position within a week, arguing that the Trump administration needed space to do what it was doing. See that? See that? In late double-minded characters. In late July, to prevent House votes on releasing Epstein-related information, Johnson adjourned the House earlier than originally scheduled for its 5-week summer break. Guys, this was all in 2025. This is why I think this dream is very telling. Another interesting fact, brothers and sisters. You ready? You won't find this. You won't find this in. You won't find this in the Wikipedia page in English of Mike Johnson. But if we go to the French one, you're going to find something which is very interesting, and I'm going to translate it in English. And my wife noticed this. My wife. The Lord used my wife to spot this information, and I was shocked. So we're now on the French Wikipedia page, okay? I'm going to show you something that is telling. Look at that. Mike Johnson is considered one of the most radical figures of Christian Zionism. Mike Johnson, anyone that is paying attention to this, Mike Johnson is considered one of the most radical figures of Christian Zionism. One of the most radical figures of Christian Zionism in the US Congress. In February 2020, he traveled to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, folks, in Jerusalem, with radical Israeli activists to demonstrate his support for the construction of a third temple on the site of the Muslim holy site. He was elected Speaker of the House of Representatives in October 2023. You cannot make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. You just can't. You just can't. He is considered the most vocal supporter of Christian Zionism, and he is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he traveled to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem with radical Zionists, Israeli activists, to demonstrate his support for the construction of the third temple. You can't make this stuff up. And you have it there. In God we trust. And in the dream, like you just heard, this chubby guy, I'm not saying it's him. I'm just showing you patterns. I'm just showing you interesting leads. This chubby-faced character said, I swear to God, and he pulled Trump to the ground. And we already see, brothers and sisters, that based on this Wikipedia page, based on the information we've just read, he wanted the Jeffrey Epstein files to be released, but Trump said, no way, Jose, don't release it. Don't release it. And then he backtracked. And then he recessed, and he called the House to adjourn early, right? And for 5 weeks, this whole case was just postponed, and we're never going to talk about it probably again. That was the mindset. But now we're back to the Epstein files again, and it's angering a lot of Trump supporters. But it's also dividing the MAGA party more than ever. And America's divided more than ever. And we're living now where wars are just igniting all over the world, right? Social wars, secret black op wars like Venezuela, and where we have rumors of wars, like in Matthew 24, wars and rumors of wars. Prophecies unfolding right now. And I'm going to end with this video. And just to keep us, our eyes peeled on Jesus, but watch and pray, like Jesus said. We have to observe what ultimately the preparing, right? Because they're awaiting the man of the hour, the man of sin. And the man of sin, in my opinion, is not the Pope. Because this man is going to basically proclaim himself God in front of the whole world. On national television, on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. He's going to make the bold claim that he's going to solve all of this corruption, all of this wickedness that has been occurring for such a long time. And this is what happened just recently. I'm going to show you. This is what happened. Here we go.
There is a story circulating right now that is extremely serious, extremely sensitive, and also very easy to misunderstand if people aren't careful. It's something we've talked about before.
Hang on, I'll put it here. Okay. Oh, sorry, my bad. Right, okay, I'm going to show this. Hang on. There we go. Oh. Okay, my bad.
Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, who's the vice. There is a story circulating right now that is extremely serious, extremely sensitive, and also very easy to misunderstand if people aren't careful. It's something we've talked about before, and I want to walk through it again. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, who's the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, went in front of a microphone and said that the newly released Epstein files include allegations that Donald Trump raped children and threatened to kill them.
Did you catch that, folks? I have to release this information in light of the vision. I have a responsibility. I've stated that I believe that this is a vision of God from Jesus. And as you well know, it was, everything that is happening now and everything that has happened so far is perfectly in line, perfectly harmonized with the dream that God gave me. I'm not making anything up. It's really what happened. And we'll see how the events unfold. But so far, Trump has fallen. Trump has fallen now more than ever. I mean, the whole world hates his guts. And they're going to need a scapegoat. Mark my words, brothers and sisters. They will need a scapegoat because you see the Vatican, the Mossad, Benjamin Netanyahu, and even people that we don't even know of. Like, rabbis have been practicing this on little toddlers in New York, in Hasidic communities, even before the Jeffrey Epstein's files were released. And that only came very late. Again, these people, they thrive on innocent blood. They thrive on spiritually raping the minds of the youth. Because they have a different spirit. They have a different religion, a different belief system than we. They don't hold to, to all of the standards and the moral codes we find in God's word. They think they're literal little gods on earth. This is their doctrine. This is why they have no complete disregard for human life.
There is a story circulating right sensitive and also and also before, and I want to aware of the House Democratic Caucus, went in front before, and I want to walk through it again. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, who's the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, went in front of a microphone and said that the newly released Epstein files include allegations that Donald Trump raped children and threatened to kill them.
I said they need the scapegoat. This is how these people operate. Am I condoning what Trump has done? Possibly. And when I say possibly, I'm most certain that Trump has, because he's mentioned thousands of times in these documents. So I'm not surprised. And how he's been a womanizer and how he likes the woman on the younger side and all of that. I mean, to me, it's not a surprise, and for many people that, you know, he's been accused of, you know, rape even by minors. And I mean, this wouldn't surprise me in the slightest bit. But we have to understand, these people always use a scapegoat. They will double cross their own in order to further their agenda. And if they see that one of their own is you know, just it's going a bit too much up to the head, and the getting, you know, the too confident and too brash, and the forgetting that, you know, hey, I'm the one who's feeding you, and you know the expression, you know, never bite, you know, the hand that feeds you. I think we're facing this sort of situation where they're fed up with Trump, and they've used him, they've used the, you know, the Trump card. And now they want to move to a different different order, a different. They've used Trump enough, and now they're moving to the next plan. That's what I mean. I really believe this. I believe they're moving to this next plan. You know, and ultimately, this smells like civil war. This, you know, he won't go down without a fight, Trump. And this is why he's igniting all of these conflicts, you know, this warmongering, you know, with Iran. I think these are smokescreens. I really believe it. I really believe these are diversions, because he knows his time is running out.
This is what Ted Lieu had to say.
Why are Republicans so interested in Bill and Hillary Clinton? It's because they're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times. In those files.
And don't get me wrong, folks. I believe Bill and Hillary Clinton are just as hypocrites as you know, all of these elites that are covering, you know, for each other in a sense. But it's all being released. So it's like, we need a victim quick. We need someone that we can say, hey, he's, you know, like, focus on him, but don't focus on my dirty sins. And I think this is what's happening. Interestingly enough, a lot of the houses of these, you know, these houses of properties of actors in Hollywood were burning. Remember, with the Californian fires? What a coincidence, right? A lot of them are leaving America and going to, you know, undisclosed locations. I mean, in the world, I mean, it's the house of cards is falling.
There's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children. So I encourage your press to go look at these allegations. And I'm highly disturbed that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just got the law wrong. Yesterday, he said, essentially, that it is not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, that's actually not correct. If Jeffrey Epstein was human trafficking minors for these sex parties, and you show up and patronize the establishment at that party, yes, you're guilty, because patronizing is part of the law, the federal sex trafficking law. So Deputy General Todd Blanche just got that wrong, which maybe explains why they aren't investigating all these folks, including Donald Trump. He needs to read the law and investigate these people. He also needs to resign, not only for not knowing the law, but a massive, not only screw up, but the biggest privacy violation in history. They release a lot of pictures of minors unredacted, just violated the privacy of these girls. It is uncalled for what they did. The one thing that they could not do under this law was to invade the privacy of these women now, who were girls at the time, who were victims of sex trafficking. Also, he met with Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell moved her to the Ministry prison and then got a puppy for her. So for all those reasons, he's just got to leave the Department of Justice.
All right. These are allegations contained in documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein. I've discussed these documents and a particular document that Lou is referring to before. And I do think it's important. We've got to play it down the middle with regard to what is an allegation and what is proof. What Ted Lou is referring to are not findings of guilt. They are not criminal convictions. They are claims that appear in files connected to the Epstein files more broadly. And it's important not to blur the lines between what this is and what it could be. Now, Lou's broader point here is political and it's procedural. He's accusing House Republicans of trying to distract from what's in the files by dragging Bill Clinton in to testify and dragging Hillary Clinton in to testify, even though neither has been charged with any crime related to Epstein, nor have there even been allegations of such crimes. And Lou says everybody in the Trump administration, including the Justice Department, is mishandling the release of these files. None of that is in dispute. That is absolutely true. The Department of Justice released millions of pages of this stuff under a transparency law. They didn't properly redact some of it. Victims' names were briefly accessible. Explicit materials. That prompted outrage from survivors' advocates and forced the DOJ to pull down a bunch of these documents. Okay, so we've got that. Now, the allegation that keeps resurfacing about Trump raping a child and trying to figure out and potentially being involved in an attempt to kill the child. This comes from...
My bad. I'm sorry about that. My bad. I completely forgot. My bad.
Years ago, there's a couple different things that this refers to. First, there's a woman using the pseudonym Katie Johnson who filed a lawsuit against Trump and Epstein, accusing them of raping her when she was a minor. The lawsuit was withdrawn, and some aspects of the claim were later recanted. There's no criminal case, there's no finding of guilt, no indictment, no trial. The identity of the plaintiff was never publicly verified, and that didn't move forward. The history I just described to you is real. We can't pretend it doesn't exist, but pretending that it's any kind of settled fact would be very dishonest. Second, in the new Epstein files, there is a document, which I looked at in detail with you before, which says that with Epstein in some small lake that's sort of like a little side basin of Lake Michigan on a boat, Trump and Epstein are accused of all sorts of stuff. I told you at the time, I don't find this particularly credible. It reportedly happened decades ago. A lot of little details don't make sense. Like, for example, it supposedly happened before it is publicly believed Epstein and Trump even knew each other. That's weird. The allegation is that it happened in a little sort of, I don't know the right word, if it's what it would be called, but it's like a little offshoot of Lake Michigan with much lower depth water. And it's difficult to imagine that the sort of boat that Epstein would be on would fit because of the depth of the hull. I'm not a boat guy, but I hope I'm explaining myself clearly. There's a lot of details that are...
Oh, it's not fixed. Hang on. Let me check again. Oh, the desktop. Oh, yeah, my bad. I actually... Sorry, brother. I have to put that. Just let me know if it's better now.
Kind of weird. And so I said, this is what the document says. I struggle to believe it. That is another aspect of what Ted Lieu is referring to here. Now, I think that the broader story beyond any one document is that this is becoming a very ugly political fight where Republicans say we must have transparency, but they only want to focus on Democrats connected to Epstein. On the other hand, we on the left have been saying, Whoever this takes down, give us the transparency you promised. Oh, but it might take down Bill Clinton.
And he has a point. We don't care whether it's the left or the right. He has a point from the left. We just want the truth. Sorry about that, Steve. Yeah, I know. It's not the first time I've just, I forgot to mute. Sometimes with the symbols, it's a bit tricky. But yeah, I mean, we don't care about, left or right. We know it's, two birds, two birds of the same nest. Two birds that fly together. They're basically the same system, whether it's the left or the right, Democrat or Republican. They're part of the same agenda. So we don't care if it's Clinton's or even people on the Republican side. We want all the names. We want all the names. And we're seeing a lot of people it's a house of cards falling down. We in the UK, right, brother Steve, right? We had people in Labour, right, that were charged, with this Epstein business, that they were actually involved directly. I mean, Bill Gates solicited sexual favors from Russian girls, and he contracted, a sexual disease. And we actually have that mail where they're going back and forth, and he's admitted that, it was a mistake, it was an error, and you have plenty of others, that have admitted. And it's just, we see that this man had his tentacles in seats of high places, right? High places of authority. And, I talked about the Mossad connection. This, it's all being released. We're living in the age of, full disclosure. But ultimately, who is going to take credit for resolving all of this? It's the man of sin, the Antichrist. He will come as the great equalizer. He will come as the one who is solving all of these burning issues where people are crying out for justice in order to deceive even the elect, because Scripture says even the elect will be deceived if it were possible, meaning you have to apostatize in order to be deceived. This man will have to bring a lot of these social issues that are not being resolved right now. And that's what 2 Thessalonians 2 talks about. It talks about a time when rebellion will occur. And it's a rebellion against the established order. Why is there a rebellion? Because all of these characters are supposed to be in positions of power and be an example, but they're not, and they're hypocrites, and the whole world is crying for a savior. The whole world is crying for a Messiah. Like I spoke to you about the Mike Johnson connection with Trump and his Christian Zionism, right? His affiliation with Israeli activists, and how he was present on the Temple Mount calling for the construction of the third temple. I mean, it's all there, folks. I mean, we're not making any of this up. It's right there. Mike Johnson, right? Who's Mike Johnson? This guy we just mentioned before, right? The Speaker of the House of Representatives. I think something major is going to happen, brothers and sisters. This Mike Johnson, right? He is considered one of the most radical figures of Christian Zionism. And in 2020, in February, the month of February, he traveled with a bunch of Israeli activists to demonstrate his support for the construction of the third temple on the Muslim holy site. You have it there. And he's elected Speaker of the House of Representatives this year. He's still the Speaker. So, I mean, It's deep, brothers and sisters. It's deep. It really is deep. So, yeah. You know, I'm going to share this scripture quickly, just to show you that, you know, I'm not talking out of my nose. This is prophetic. Jesus said this. Luke 8, verse 17. Going to read from the King James, okay? 17. Okay. Right. This is very important. Just want to put this before we continue with the video. Okay? Just want to put this out for a while, and I want to bring the scriptures right there. Great. Okay. Because we'll get back to this. Hang on. Get back to this. Okay, this is very important. Very, very important. There we go. Verse 16. No man, when he hath lighted a candle, covereth it with a vessel, and I'm just going to, I'm just going to put me there slightly. Okay. Covereth it with a vessel, or putteth it under a bed, but setteth it on a candlestick, that they which enter in may see the light. We are shedding the light, brothers and sisters, tonight. We really are. We're exposing we're exposing the darkness rather than being partakers of darkness, as Scripture tells us. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. Verse 17. You see that? For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. We're living in that time of all things are being exposed to the light of the truth. And Jesus is the truth. He is the life. He's allowing this to happen. Neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. You see this? Whole Epstein file has shook the whole world. Shook the whole world. Yeah, brother, don't get me started on Labour. The government over here is a disgrace. Yeah, I mean, the world is a disgrace. Everything, that all of these dark deeds are coming, you know. I'm sure, brother, you knew this, you know, back in the 80s, all of these children that were raped by the Queen of England, right? The Windsors. How they went, you know, to Belgium and with the European families, you know, rich and powerful families in Europe, and the Vatican, and how they performed all of these dark rituals. It's all coming out with this Epstein business. The Mossad, the Kabbalist, Talmudist synagogue of Satan, those who say are Jews but are not. It's all coming out because they're all being exposed. They're all Antichrist. They're all saying they're Christian or Jew, but in reality, they're Satanists. They have a secret religion, and it's all coming out. Take heed, therefore, how ye hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given. You are given this revelation, and whosoever have not, from him shall be taken. That means if you don't have fruit, if you're not speaking the truth, you will be taken what you have acquired in this life. But if you have Jesus Christ, it will not be robbed. It will not be stolen from you. I want to bring this back again. Let's keep listening. Lord, I mean, it's difficult sometimes to break this news, brothers. Don't get me wrong. It's just so dark and wicked that I have children. I have 4 children. I actually technically have 5, but with my wife, I have 4 children. And when we hear this, Lord, we need to batter down the hatches.
I don't think it will, but if it does, go for it. That is the difference right now between Republicans and Democrats. So where this leaves us today is that there are allegations in the files involving powerful people, including Donald Trump. Allegations aren't proof. Some claims have since been withdrawn. Some have been disputed. Some have been found not to be credible after law enforcement at the time looked into them. Some names appear in the files without even any allegations. And the Justice Department is making everything worse by handling the release completely recklessly. If Republicans want transparency, support a serious, victim-centered process, not these selective hearings where Hillary and Bill come in, but Trump and everybody Trump knows doesn't have to come in. And if Democrats really want accountability, be really clear about what's alleged and proven. So Ted Lieu, I don't think he's doing anything wrong by mentioning that these allegations are there, but it is also important to consider the context that a number of these allegations we've already examined, and some of them do not seem particularly credible. I do not have a cat myself.
Okay, I'm not in agreement with every single thing he says, but I do understand the objectivity that he is conveying. I do understand that there will be always exaggerations in this whole affair, but the reality is there's a lot of dark, nasty stuff that has been going on with these powerful elites, these families, and ultimately they're not all that powerful when they are faced with the truth. So I just wanted to share that. I could share more. I'm sure, you've seen like all of the dark things that have been released on the internet. Some of you have researched this, and yes, Trump, he's not a saint. Clearly is not a saint. And I do believe that what has just been said there is not just to smoke and mirrors, because Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, wicked, because they were even said to even be doing rituals. I mentioned this Kevin Annett gentleman, that they were actually participating in these black masses. So at this point, brothers and sisters, black magic and white magic is still magic, is still witchcraft. Whether you sugarcoat it, by saying, oh, it's just it's the good witchcraft. It's the good white witchcraft against the black witchcraft. It's still witchcraft. And these people are playing the roles, the respective roles, to the T, and they know what they're doing, and they're manipulating the whole world. Now we're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift where people want a Messiah. They want a Messiah. They want someone to step in. And why do they want a Messiah and not the Messiah, God Almighty Jesus Christ, who came down in the flesh into the womb of the Virgin Mary to redeem mankind from their sins? Why do they want that Messiah and not the Messiah? Because they've rejected the truth. And we know that many will not endure sound doctrine in the last days. Many will not endure. And we have to be aware of these things. Jesus bless you, brothers and sisters. And again, like we stated in the previous live stream, we have on the 14th an open mic on the Trinity camp versus the oneness of God monarchian view. And it's going to be good. It's going to be a good discussion. I'm sure we're going to have a very fruitful discussion. I have no doubt of it, with Brother Steve and the brothers that will be on. And love you all. And remember, we shouldn't fear what is happening, because it has to be exposed. We have to understand that, many who have thought that Trump was God's man, starting to realize that no, he's part of the very system that he said that he was ultimately going to fight against. And it's a good thing, brothers and sisters, because we hold to the monarchy. We hold to one king, Jesus Christ, our God. We understand that all of these kings, their time is short. And do we call for open rebellion by burning cars on the streets, by lawlessness? No, we're not. We're respecting the order, respecting the rulers, as Paul admonished us to do so. But then, do we swear allegiance to people that say there is no separation of church and state, and yet they're saying there is? But then we know that there is this agenda through the Jesuits, through the Roman Catholic Church, through the synagogue of Satan, through these Talmudist so-called Jews that appear as God's chosen people, but they have an agenda and they're keeping their enemies closer, as the expression goes, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It's twisted, it's sick, it's the Gnostic lie that is repackaged again. And there are many players, and it's a whole lot more nuanced than you might think. But that's the reality of human nature, fallen human nature.